Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode with your girl Audrey Codner from ACG Math Tutoring. Hopefully you guys are doing well this evening. Recovering a little bit from yesterday's festivities. Just want to declare that I have another graduate underneath my belt. So excited. Another high school graduate, which is awesome. And she was one of my old G clients that I've had for multiple years. And, time for the little birds to fly. So, if you are new to my channel, hey, welcome. Definitely come on in. So what we're going to be tackling for today is what's called measures of central tendencies and variation. Okay, so we all know it as the triple M's: mean, median, and mode. And then also we have range. Now, this is the thing. Every time everybody is talking about measures of central tendency, they always add range as part of it. Range is not looking at the center of your data. Okay, that's not what range does. Range takes basically your highest number and your lowest number so you can see the variation between those 2 points. So when you're looking at the range, you're taking your highest number minus your lowest number. But when we're looking at mean, now mean is your average. And I know a lot of people are like, yeah, this is easy, Audrey. Like, this is like basic math. And I'm like, true. But there's a lot of people that's probably never even seen this because we had something called a pandemic and there wasn't that much, education going on around that. I know there was a few teachers that were, but there was a lot of teachers that weren't. So, know how I know? Because I have them now as clients, okay? So, the struggle is real. So with the mean, we're doing with our average, okay? So when we're taking our average, we're basically adding up the numbers, and then we're dividing how many numbers are in that number set or data set. So when you're doing this, you might actually, and I'm going to advance up a little bit, you might actually see this symbol. And especially if you're going to go into the nursing program and you have to do data analysis, you're going to see this symbol here. Okay, if you're going into statistics, you're going to see this symbol here. This symbol means sigma. Okay, that's a Greek letter meaning sigma. Now with sigma notation, all you're basically doing, and I know it seems very intimidating, but all you're basically doing with sigma notation, you're just basically taking the sum of all the data entries and put it into your data set. Data, here we go. All right. So that's all that E is basically telling you. It's basically showing you summarization. So you're adding up numbers. Okay. Now, you also, if you go a little bit further into statistics, you'll see something called a mu. Okay, this is basically used to represent the population. So the population could be all the students in a school. Okay, we could look at like everyone that's working on the first floor of a warehouse. Or it could be like everyone that's a member of a certain club. Okay, so you're looking at a whole population. You can go with the whole Republican, Democrats, Green parties. Okay, those are basically the populations. Now, if I wanted to take a sample, okay, if I wanted to find the mean of the population, we're using mu. If I wanted to find the mean of the sample, this is what you're going to see a lot of in Algebra 1 and Algebra 2, okay? So when you're taking the mean of a small sample, so say I wanted to know what is the average number of, say I wanted to know what is the average number of a particular high school, well, not a particular high school, but in a high school that basically uses their phone. I know it's not that much of a thing, but I know I'm reaching. But I'm taking a sample. I'm taking a particular class. I'm taking the freshman class. And if I want to find that average, I'm finding out, I'm adding up how many people are in the freshman class, and then whatever I'm trying to measure, and then divided by the number of students that are representing that freshman class. Okay? Now, when we go into it, so let's say for example, let's put an example out there. So if I have, not that color. Let's see if this is something that we can see. Yep, perfect. So say that I want to find the mean of, let's say, these following numbers. So I have 5, 2, 7, 7, 5, 2, 7, 25. Okay. All right. So I want to find the mean, the average. So the way that I'm going to find the average, this is when I don't have to put the numbers in order. Okay. But I am going to put it in order because I know what's coming up next. So if they're ever just asking for just the mean, this is the one that you don't have to put your numbers in numerical order. But I'm going to put it in numerical order because I know what the next step is going to be. So all I'm basically doing, if I do have to put it in order, I'm just going to start with my lowest number and work my way up. So I have 1, 2, 2 2s. I have 1, 2, 2 5s. I have 1, 2, 3 7s. Okay, and I always like to cancel them out as I go along. And then 1, 25. All right. So all I'm doing is adding them all up. Now, this might be a little helpful for those that struggle, because especially if you're going to do a test that you can't have access to a calculator, group them. Put them into groups. Put your 2s in groups, put your 5s in groups, put your 7 in a group, and then you have your 25. So now, if I'm going to add them, basically find the sum, all I have to do is just add them. 2 plus 2, that gives me 4. Plus 5 plus 5, that gives me 10. Plus 7 plus 7 plus 7, or fast addition, aka multiplication, there's 3 7s, so that's 21, plus my 25. Okay, so if you don't have a calculator and you are given a list that you're going to need to find the mean for, you can put them numerically and then group them based on their numbers. And then we're going to group them again. So if I want, I can group, since it's all addition, I can group the 4 and the 10 and get 14. I could group the 21 and the 25 and get 46. And then, last but not least, well, kind of, I'm going to group the 46 and the 14, and that gives me 60. Okay? So my summarization of all those numbers is going to be 60. So now I have 2, 4, 6, 8 numbers. Okay? These numbers right here. So I have 8 of them. So that means I'm going to take this 60, if I want to find the mean, I'm going to divide it by those 2, 4, 6, 8 numbers. Okay, thanks C4. All right. So now, again, you don't have a calculator. So now let's do our division. The 60 goes, as you guys like to say, under the house, and the 8 is on the outside. So how many 8s can go into 6? None. But how many 8s can go into 60 without going over? That'll be 7. Because 7 times 8, that gives me my 56. And then I subtract. So I can't do 0 minus 6. I got to borrow from the 6 to make this into a 5. And then I'm making this into a 10. 10 minus 6 gives me 4. So you could do one of two things. You could hit a decimal point and add a 0, but my suggestion, take a look at your answers. Okay, when you're taking these type of tests, take a look at your answers to see, are they giving you decimals or are they giving you like mixed numbers? Now, if they're giving you mixed numbers, you have this remainder of 4, and we're going to put it over 8. So 4 over 8, or 4/8, that can be reduced. So 7 and a half. Okay, 7 and a half. Or, as some of you guys put up, you can say as a decimal, 7.5 or 7 5/10. All right. Yep. So you can do a decimal. Okay, that means I'll put my decimal point here and add a 0, bring that 0 down to make that 4 into a 40. And then I got 5/8 can go into 40. Or if it's a mixed number, just put whatever your remainder is, put it over your divisor, not the dividend, the divisor, which is the 8. And then 8. And then look to see if you need to reduce that fraction, which we did, which gave us our 1/2. Okay? So it's a little combination of basic math skills, but at the same time, it's a refresher. At the same time, it's just kind of something active to keep your mind going. All right? So that's what you do with the mean. Okay? Your mean is you add your numbers up, and then you divide by the total numbers that's in that data set. And then if you have to do the division, do your division and simplify as best you can. Okay? So that's mean. And I can do another one, but we're probably going to do mean. And I can do another one, but we're probably going to do one with a combination of stuff. So now, the next part is the median. Now the median, as I have up here, zoink. Okay, so your median is your middle number. So when they ask you for the median, you have to put your numbers in order. Okay, so when they ask you for the mean, you don't need your numbers to be put in order. But when they ask you for the median, you do have to put those numbers in order. Now, here's the best thing. We're going to use that same example because, we already set it up. So what's highlighted, we have it in numerical order, starting with the least at 2, going up to the utmost of 25. So in order for us to find our median, we need to count down to the middle of this data set. Now, some people will say, all right, why don't you take the high number and the low number and just, subtract them and then divide by 2. I was like, well, they're not consistent. There's some holes that's going on here. Okay, we go 2, 2, then we go to 5. Then after 5, we go to 7. Then after 7, we go all the way to 25. Okay, that's ginormous. Now, if it was more consistent, I would be right there with you. Okay, you can treat it almost like a midpoint. But what you are doing is you're starting on the ends and then you're counting towards the middle. So you can figure out where is the middle of your data. So I kind of like to do the cross-out method. So that was my 1 set. There's my 2 set. That's my 3 set. Now it looks like it's happening between 5 and 7. So we can do this finding the middle 1 or 2 ways. One, we can just use our logic. What number is between 5 and 7? What number is between 5 and 7? Go ahead and put it in the chat. Okay. Hello, Snippety. How are you? So Snippety says 6. Hey, Janice says 6. Kaya says 6. I think that's I don't know. Is that a cupcake? If that's cupcake, says 6. JD, how are you? Okay. I messaged you. Okay. He says 6. Dylan says 6. Miss Reed says 6. Miss Reed. Is it Babylus? I love this. Thanks. Not a problem. Juanita says 6. User, yes. All of that says 6. Okay. Hey, Rough. Hey, are you doing Rough Nut? You're saying 6. Okay. XL saying 5.5. Round that up to a 6. I know. You're trying to. Good. Legal says 6. All right. Hey. All right. You can do it that way if it is as simplistic as that. Another way of doing it, just in case, is you can add these two together, 5 plus 7, and then divide by 2 to find your median. If it's ever between 2 points. Sometimes we can use logic because 5 plus 7, that gives me 12. And 12 divided by 2 gives me 6. Okay? So sometimes when it gets in between 2 numbers, now if it was 5 and 10, yeah, that'll be tough to do because there's such a variation between those 2 numbers. But if it's just like one whole unit away, you're going to get exactly the same answer. All right? So the median, that's your middle number. You have to place your data in order. Okay, you have to do that. Yep, the only whole number between 5 and 7 is 6. You got it, Dylan. Yep, that's it. All right. Now, if it wasn't between 2 numbers, let's say if it was an odd number of data entries, then you will find the exact whole number. Because once you count towards the middle, you're not going to have 2 options. You're just going to have one whole number. Okay. Hey, beautiful disaster. I was like, hey, Erica. You check it. Teachers usually want you to put a check mark after it. Okay. Yeah, we can do that. All right. Okay, so if it's an odd number, you're going to find the exact number. If it's an even number of data entries, it's always going to fall between 2 numbers. Sometimes it's nice and sweet like this, that you could just say, oh, it's 5 or it's 6. Or you're going to have to add those 2 numbers up, divide by 2 to find what will be your middle number of the data set. Okay? All right, legal. Yep. All right. So we've done mean. Okay, that was this part, which I forgot to put my symbol. So forgetful lately because I got so much stuff going on. Okay, so we have our mean, we have our median, and now we're going to do the easiest one. Okay, the easiest, which is our mode. Okay, let's see if you guys can see that. Okay, our mode is also known as the most frequent. Okay, in our list, what will be our most frequent? Okay, Jen says it was 7. Okay, legal saying 7. There you go. Okay, so it's the most frequent. Not a problem. All right, Kia saying 7. Star saying 7. Good. That's it. Okay, good evening. How are you? All right, so if you take a look, it's the one that happens the most. The 7s is happening 3 times as comparison to the 2 and 5. Those 2 are repeating only twice. Now, can you have more than one mode? Is that possible? Hey, Candy Girl. Got Shrek fingers. Yep, mode means most frequent. Okay, Star says yes. Janet says yes. I totally agree with you guys. Yes. You can have multiple modes. You can have one mode or you can have no modes. Okay, it's a possibility. So it's always just basically the most frequent, which is going to be 7. Let me put my 7 up here. 7 up. All right. Now, notice I haven't talked about range. Okay, range is not a measure of central tendency. If you notice with the mean, we were finding the average. What is roughly the amount of numbers? What is roughly that number that's kind of in the middle? Our median, okay, that is our middle number. And our mode is the most frequent. All of this is being dealt with what's happening to the center of my data, okay? What number is being represented in the center of my data? Okay, whereas range is the variation. So this is why I'm not putting range in with this side, not just yet. Okay. All right. So for mean, you don't have to put the numbers in. For median, you do have to put it in numerical order. And then your mode is just the most frequent number that keeps coming up. All right. Okay. So let's see if we can put one more example. Not this one. Here we go. And I want you to tell me my mean, my median, and my mode. Yeah, I'm not going to try to get you guys all confused. Okay. Okay, that's all right. Now, your mean and your median can repeat as well. They can be duals as well. Mode is the most frequent number. Mean is your average. And median. Think about that little island that's usually stuck in the middle of the road. Sometimes it has flowers. Some people put trees on there. Okay, it's almost like, a park in the middle of the street. Okay, that's called the median. Okay, the middle of the street. Okay. If I think of mode, I always think of flip mode squad, right? Flip mode. And always think of how fast. All of a sudden, I have such a huge headache. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to fight myself through this because I don't want you to miss anything. But Busta Rhymes, thank you. My gosh. So when Busta Rhymes, when he raps really fast. So it's like if you try to count how many numbers and how many words he's constantly saying, it's like how it just keeps going, to keep numbering, like the most frequent. So I always think of that way. That's just how my brain works. But the mean is always average, because usually most mean people are like average minded. Maybe it's just the ones I meet. Maybe it's the ones I see. Oh, hello, God is good. How are you? There you go. Okay. Yeah, you don't have to use a pen. The reason why I use a pen, because it comes up so much better than a pencil. So, and it helps with you guys being able to see everything. Trust me, I'm a firm believer of using the pencil. All right. So I'm seeing some answers here. So Star is saying that our mode, we have two of them, which is 12 and 21. Okay, yes, Katie, how are you? The mean is your average. So that means you're going to add up all the numbers in the data set, and then you're going to divide by how many numbers are in that actual data set. Okay, so Candy Girl's saying the mean is 16, 17. The median is 15.5. The mode is 12 and 21. Miss Reed is saying 12 and 15. Janice is saying the median is 16. The mode is 12 and 21. You don't have to add the 12s or the 21s, right? What do you mean, Katie? So like the 15.5. So what do you mean you don't have to add the 12s and the 21s? Well, if you're finding the median, there's 2 on each end. Oh, okay. Yeah, if you're counting towards the middle, yes. If you're counting towards the middle. But you still, well, since there's 2 of them, yeah, that does make it easier. But generally, as a general rule, you do start on the ends. But here's the thing. Make sure that they're what? Okay. Okay. So we have to make sure that this is in numerical order. For mean, it doesn't have to be in numerical order. We can have our 16 plus our 21 plus our 12 plus our 15 plus our 12 and plus our 21 again. And then we divide by how many numbers there are, which is 6. Okay. Yep, you got your order of operation. And luckily right now we're doing the summarization. So sometimes, this is just me, if I want to make sure I see everything, I can quickly put it. So there is 2 12s. We got our 15. We have our 16. And we have our 21s. And there's 2 of them. So if I want to add them without a calculator, we got our 12s, we got a 15, 16, and we have to add up our 21s. So this is for us to find the mean. And then yes, we are going to be dividing by 6. Oh, you didn't see the 15? Okay. Okay. So 12 plus 12, that gives me 24. And if you want, you can do 15 and 16. So that gives me what, 31? And then 21 plus 21, that gives me 42. Okay. And if you want, Just in case you want, you can add these together, you can add those together, you go add the ends together. It really doesn't matter. But in this case, I'm going to look at 55. And then 55 plus 42, that gives me a 97. Okay, yep. So you put it in numerical order, Lisa, because when it's time for you to find the median, the middle number, they have to be in order. For mean, it doesn't have to be in order. Okay. The mode is not 97. This is us adding together to find our mean. Because if I want to find our mean, that's my symbol for mean. So we're going to take this 97 and we're going to divide by the 6 numbers that's there. So we're looking for the average number. Okay. So again, if we have to do it by long division, I know it takes some time. It really does. But this is what we got to do. So how many 6s can go into 9? 1. Good. How many 6s can go into 37? So 6 times 6 gives me 36. And then I have that remainder of 1. So we can say your mean is 16 and 1/6. If you want to put on the decimals, you can put on the decimal and add a 0. But eventually, you're just going to keep going on. Okay, so that was your mean. You guys already found the mode because it was the most frequent numbers. That's usually the easiest thing. Sometimes I like to start right there. Okay, so my mode, I'm going to stick it over here. The numbers that both came up was 12 and 21. Okay, so we got our mean, we got our mode, now we need our median. So since they are already, oops, I know I keep moving stuff. Since they're already in numerical order, all you're doing is just counting towards the middle. And right now it's between 15 and 16, and a lot of you guys said between 15 and 16 is that 0.5. So that means your median is 15.5. Yep, you can have more than one mode. You can have 0 modes. Yep, and it can be 97/6. We just reduced it. All we did was just divide the 97 with the 6. That's how we got this part. Okay. No, it's going to be 15.5. So you actually want to find where exactly is the middle of that data set. So that's what you're looking for. So it will be, Katie, it will be 15.5. Okay. Okay, so if it was 12, 15, 16, 21, would the mode be all or none? None, because none of them are repeating, Katie. So in order for it to be a mode, if it was like 12, 12, 15, 16, 21, then your 12s, they repeat it twice. So that will be considered your mold. Okay. All right. How are we feeling? I know it's very low key tonight. Very low key. And I think I'm going to be ending very early tonight. Yes. Yes. It's been a trying day. Yes, good. Thank you. I know. And plus, I want to keep you guys up because it makes you feel like I'm missing out on something. I'm like, no, my darlings, you're really not. You're really not. It's okay. And I'll do my sampling. I think I'm going to try to do sampling tomorrow so I can do a little bit more with the data analysis because I will do it here and there, but I really want to make sure I get all of that in there. All right, so for your range, let me steal. See, I'm already stealing stuff. Let me steal one of our problems. So now I'm looking at the measures of variation. Okay. This is when range comes into play, okay? I don't know who started it, but they were mad wrong to do mean, median, mode, and range. No, okay? When you're doing measures of central tendency, it is going to be mean, median, mode. That's it. But when you're talking about range, now range is when you're handling your largest number, whatever your highest number, so it's your highest number minus your lowest number. So I'm going to borrow, now I'm going to steal this. So I'm going to borrow this data set that we just had with the 16, 21, I'm going to put it in some range in original state, 12, 15, 12, and 21. Okay. Now, when I want to find the range of this data set, all I'm basically doing is taking my highest number, which is 21, and minus by the lowest number, which is 12. And I'm going to say that the point of this data set ranges between range or falls within this variation. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay? So I'm like, what am I trying to say? All right? Which will give me, you have the same pen? Cool. Which gives me 9. So that will be my measure of variation. For the example, so range, boom. Sorry. Okay. You're tired and sleepy? Like, no, I just got here. Okay. It's like, don't end. Well, I'm going to have to eventually. Because I am not a computer. As much as anybody would love to try to say that I am. But I'm not. And it's been a really long day. Very emotional. Usually when I get this emotional, it takes a lot out of me. A lot out of me. But it was like happy emotion. But it was just, I don't know. Like they were my children. Nope, the numbers don't have to be in order because all you need is the highest number and the lowest number. That's it. That's it. Yep, that's all we have to do. Now, I'm going to take it one step further. Okay? I'm going to take it one step further. So, let's say if we did put in order. We don't have to. But, if we did put in order. So, we did this before. We have our 2 12s, our 15, 16, and 2 21s. We know that, just because we did it earlier, we know that the middle our median was 15.5. If I wanted to, let's see if I can find, oh, here it is. If I wanted to cover up these higher numbers, and I wanted to find the middle number of these lower numbers, what would it be? Oh, thanks, Candy Girl. I know. 12. Good. 12. 12. Hello, Patty. 12. Yep. 12. Matthew. 12. Good. Not 13.5. Because we have 3 numbers here. Okay? I'm not including my 15.5. I'm just looking at the numbers that are lower than the 15.5. So I got 3 numbers. So this middle number right here, that's going to be something else. I'm going to tell you in a second. If I cover up the lower numbers, and now I'm just working on the higher numbers, what's my median? What's my median for these higher numbers? Okay, we got 21, 21, 21. Good. Anthony, 21. Matthew, 21. Okay, 21, 21. Good. And it's going to be this 21 right here. And we're going to give it a name in a second. All right. What you just found is called quartiles. You're like, what? Quartiles. Quartiles is another way of saying I'm breaking up all this data into what's called quarters, quarter sections. So if you think about it, think about a whole dollar. It takes 4 quarters to equal $1. If you think of this data set as $1, this first number here, this is called my first quartile, okay, or Q1. The 21, that's called my third quartile, or Q3. Now, in some books, the median that we originally had, sometimes, and I'm going to put it in parentheses, sometimes they call it Q2. So I just want you to familiarize yourself with that because sometimes it pops up, sometimes it doesn't. I have no clue. But your median is the second quartile. So what you're about to create to help represent all this, did you guys ever heard of a boxer whiskers plot? Y for yes, N for no. Box and whiskers. Probably like, man, I haven't heard that in forever. Okay, so I got a no, I got a yes, I got a no. Will that be on our quiz? Actually, it will be on, if you're taking GED, they'll mention something, or they will definitely mention quartiles. Okay, so got some no's, got some no's. Wow, lots of no's. All right. And I got a yes. All right. See, this is why I do these things. Okay. Now, if I think of it this way, and this is how you represent it, you're going to draw a box. In the middle is going to be your median. So here is going to be your Q1. Here is going to be your Q3. Now, that's the box part. When you extend out, that'll be your whiskers. Okay, so this one, it's going to be tough because your whisker is really not that far, because your Q1 and your minimum, min for short, is basically the same. Out here will be your maximum. Our maximum, which again, it's not going to be that bad because my Q3 and the maximum is basically the same thing. So ignore all of this. Ignore the drawing because I know it's kind of rough. Because your Q1 and your minimum is the same number. Your Q3 and your maximum is your same number. But then somewhere smack in the middle of this is your median. And your median, which we found, was 15.5. Okay. This is roughly, and I say roughly because the numbers are pretty rough. Okay. This is roughly what a box and whisker plot looks like. So this is what's happening. Supposedly, this section out here that contains your minimum, that's 25% of the data or data. From Q1 to your median, that's another 25% of the data. From your median to Q3, same thing, 25%. And then from your Q3 to your maximum, that's supposed to also be 25%. So if you notice, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 quarters. And what does 4 quarters equal? $1 whole dollar. I'm going to have to be truthful. What's the shell method? I never heard of that. And versus washer. Maybe it's something that I do and you just guys name that differently. Because I've never heard of that. And I'm also noticing there's always like different terms. And I'm like, oh, it's just the AC method. Why are we being so difficult? All right. All right. Okay. So, quartiles. And when you're looking at quartiles, you're basically cutting your data into 4, not really equal, but into 4 sections. Okay? The percentage of your data, This is the lower quartile. This is the upper quartile. Okay, so we can get all those situated. All right, it's calculus. That's probably why, because I don't do calculus at all. Yeah. Yeah, I don't do calculus. I'm so sorry. All right. Okay, so we got our mean, we got our median, we got our mode. We talk about range, introduce a little bit with quartiles, a little introduction with box and whisker plots, which I'm going to do a little bit more stuff with that. And let's see if we can do one more, and then I'm going to pass out. No problem. Cylinder method. Never heard of cylinder method either. Yeah, I'll be truthful. See, for me, I'm like, I will not try to fake the funk because I don't want anyone to struggle because of my lack of abilities. All right. Okay, good night. Our last one. So I'm going to make it into this. So we have 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 5, 5. I'll put it in order this time. 6 and 6. All right, this should be it. Okay, so we want to find our mean, our median, our mode, and our range. Tomorrow we'll work a little bit more with IQRs, which are called interquartile range. Not too technical. If you think about what you're doing with range, you can easily figure out when you have quartiles. Okay. Hey, Tilted Halo, how are you? Yep, we're just finishing up on this one problem, and then we're calling it an early night. Okay. All right, take care, beautiful disaster. Or Erica. I know, I'm excited for you. I can't wait. Yep, we have a good... Aw. Okay. Well, if anything, message me Tilted Halo. Because if it's something that you really need to get done, like a GED or Acuplacer or ASVAB, just let me know, because I do have an alternative. You know, because I know everyone's schedule is all over the place because people got to work, you know, and I get it. But that doesn't mean that you still give up your hope of achieving your goal. Okay. All right. But we have a nice handful of people. I think we have 6 right now, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Acuplacer. Okay. Yeah, because even we can do like just 1-to-1. That'll be fine too. Because it might be just something that you just need to tweak in order to get that final score. Okay. Yeah, we can do something. Just let me know. Let me know. All right, so what do we have? So Candy Girl is saying mean is 3.83, median is 4, mode is 5. Okay, so now I have a mean of 3.36 from Janice. Median is 4, mode is 5. Ooh, okay. Yeah, of course. It's like, ooh, we got a little discrepancy going on with the means. Let's take a look. Any other answers? Go ahead and put it in. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you. It's a lovely gift. I was like, you're gonna blow all your money on me. I was like, What do we got? So remember, you can probably put them together. Make it a little easy for yourself. We got 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. Okay. Okay, so 3.81 now. All right. Oh, thanks for tapping. So that means 42. Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha. 3.81. All right, well, let's see. Okay, any other answers? We're all in agreement? Okay, so we got 1, we got 2 and 2. So basically we have 1 plus 4 plus 6 plus 4 plus 15 plus 12. So anytime I get individual numbers like this, I try to group the repeat numbers and combine them first. Then I start looking for, all right, what can I combine? I can combine 15 and 12. I can combine 6 and 4 quite easily, and 1 and 4. So 1 and 4, that gives me 5. Plus 6 and 4, that gives me 10. Plus 15 and 12 gives me 27. So 5 and 10, that gives me 15. Plus 27. So 50, whoa. Yeah, 52. I was about to say 2, and all of a sudden it was like, no. And I'm like, no, it is. Okay. So now that we have 52, and we had 11 numbers, this is us finding the mean. So that means we have our 52 divided by 11. $52 or 42, probably. Hold on. Nope, you're right, 42. See? Told you. Need to go to bed. Yeah, because I was like, no, you're supposed to get 3 point something. I was like, what's going on? Yep. So it is 42. So now, 3 11s, which gives me 33. So if I borrow from this 4 to make this 2 into a 12, 12 minus 3, that gives me 9. Okay. If I wanted to do the decimal, because I'm seeing a lot of decimal answers, so I put my decimal point and the 0. That means I also have to put my decimal point up in the quotient. Instead of a 9, it's now going to be a 90. So how many 11s can go into 90 without going over? That would be 8 of them. Again, borrowing from the 9 to make it an 8. And then adding the 10s over to the 0 to make it into a 10. 10 minus 8 gives me 2. If I add another 0, bring it on down, I have 11. I have 20. And then there's 1, which gives me my answer of 9 again. And then it's going to start repeating. Okay, so then it's going to start repeating. So it's actually going to repeat 8 ones. So I'm going to put my little line over top right there, because it's not just repeating the 8 or the 1. It's actually keep going 8, 1, 8, 1, 8, 1, 81, 81, 81, all the way. Okay. All right. Yes. All right, so that's our mean. Okay, so that's our mean. What's our median? Okay. Did we say our median was 4? So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our middle number is 4. Now for the mode, which one repeated the most? Good, everyone. Good job, guys. You don't need me. Okay, so we said our mode is 5, but what did we say the range was? What's my range? I saw some 1s, and that's not correct. What's our range? There you go. There we go. That's also 5. Because my highest number was 6, minus my lowest number, which is 1, and 6 minus 1, that gives me 5. All right. Excellent. All right. Cool. So we will do a little bit more with box and whisker plots. I will show you some real situations where you can actually grow your whiskers and everything, and looking at your percentages. So we're going to do that. But as long as we understand the measures of central tendency is your mean, your median, and your mode. It is not range. Range is the measure of variations. All right. All right, quick spiel, and then we're done. All right, so like I said, we have some people that took advantage of the flash sale of the summer math prep course, which is awesome. Again, I wanted to keep it small anyway, but if you still feel that, hey, Audrey, I really want to be a part of it, it's a shame I missed it, I can also offer, okay, but it definitely has to be paid. I do have payment plans. So if you notice on that sheet, okay, originally it was like $147, but I also can give like 2 $75 payment plans. Okay, so if you need it, I understand, because this is something that you want to get done. Okay, you want this. Maybe not for me. If you're just like, you know what, I want to do it, Audrey, I want to do it on my own first, not a problem. Okay, do what you got to do. If you want to continue watching my videos and coming on to the lives and everything, do that. I'd rather you do what makes you feel comfortable. Okay, but overall, we wanted to be able to get this GED. I've seen way too many people that will go to these courses and they'll do all the work, and then when it's time for them to take the test, they never do. Doesn't make any sense. If you're going to do all this work, take the test at the end. It's okay. And I know it's a fear thing. I know for sure it's definitely a fear thing. But if anything, if you also like the way that the class or the notes are set up, remember, I designed this book. Okay, this is one of 3. They are available on either Amazon or through my books buy, which you can go through my website. So if you go to my profile, you see the website right at the bottom. Click on that. You can still register. The flash sale is over, but you can still register for the course. I am going to keep accepting people until the end of the 2nd week of the course. Okay, so if people are like, you know what, I just need a couple weeks, Audrey, to get myself together, go ahead, get yourself together, save up a little bit, and then reach out to me, okay? Because I definitely want you to be able to get this done. So I have this. If anything, you can go to my YouTube channel. For some reason, I cannot find Like, you should see my desk, guys. Like, this is ridiculous. I don't even know how it got this way. Like, 1 minute, everything was all nice and organized. And then all of a sudden, can't find nothing. All right. But if you do want to look into my YouTube channel, because on YouTube, I have all of the lives. Okay. All of the lives that I've done since February 2nd is going to be on there. Free access. Go ahead, binge watch as many as you want to. Okay, that's another resource for you. So if you really want to, and you're like, you know what, Audrey, I can't do the course, but here's something that you can do in the meantime. And I also offer on-demand courses as well. So if you want to do the on-demand instead of coming in for the lives on either Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday, hey, that's fine. We got options. So how are you going to know what your options are until you ask me? That's the only way you're going to be able to get those answers. Okay. So 1, thank you so much for the follow. 2, thank you so much for the tapping. And 3, just thank you for your support. I greatly appreciate this, because without your support, I will probably be in Facebook being frustrated as I don't know what. Because it's so dry over there, like the Sahara. All right. Or SAT word, arid. There we go. That's all I got for English. That's it. So I'm actually going to end mad early, which is great. But I will be here tomorrow night at 9:30. If you have any questions about the Academy, if you have any questions about the GED, the ASVAB, the AccuPlacer, or even the TEAS test, especially the algebra component, go ahead and reach out. If you're looking for a math tutor, I have spots available. All my babies are starting to leave me, because right now, once they take the standardized tests, like, kids are just basically bored to death when they go to school. Yeah, they're watching videos. Some of them are doing like cute little projects, but yeah, they're not doing a whole hell of a lot for the next, like, for us in Maryland, we got 2 more weeks. Doesn't make any sense. Like, just end it, just end it all. Let them stay home, watch videos if they want to. Okay. So no problem. Have a lovely evening, and keep being awesome. All right. Keep shining your light. I appreciate it. Okay. All right. Have a good night. Take care, guys. Bye now.